Tonight, there are more San Diegans living on the streets and in shelters than 2 years ago. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. That's according to the point-in-time count that was done back in February. It found more than 8,400 people are homeless in the county.
CBS 8's Heather Hope breaks down some of the hardest hit communities and has a response from Mayor Todd Gloria.
The Regional Task Force on Homelessness said it knew that numbers would go up in the pandemic, but the volunteers who went from encampment said they were shocked to see an increase in women, black people, seniors, and families living in shelters, in their cars, and on the streets.
But either way you look at it, far too many people experiencing homelessness.
From canvassing the county one day in February, the Regional Task Force on Homelessness estimates no fewer than 8,427 people are experiencing homelessness in San Diego County. That's a 10% jump from 2020. More than 4,100 were on the streets, and more than 4,300 were in shelters.
We're also seeing more families, so there's some trends we're concerned about.
Volunteers counted more people with physical disabilities this year, but saw a drop in the number of homeless veterans.
So our veteran numbers are down 30% from where they were in 2020, so very promising.
1,400 volunteers went to 36 sites from Oceanside to San Isidro from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the day of the count and asked anyone on the street or in their car if they were homeless. Volunteer Sarah Hutmacher describes the experience.
Sometimes they are employed and it's just cost of living and other challenges that make it difficult for them to keep an apartment. I'm often surprised by people that are, getting their dress shirt on to go to work from a tent under a freeway. Compared to years past, more people were found living in vehicles and RVs. 25 to 30% of those unsheltered in San Diego County were women. 30% were black.
It is just over-representation, and they're in the system longer, and housing is harder for them.
Mayor Todd Gloria says the spike in homeless numbers are not surprising.
The bottom line is this: it doesn't matter how folks have ended up on the streets. It's my responsibility to get as many of them off the streets as quickly as possible.
Gloria says his administration has increased the number of shelter beds in the city of San Diego by 25% and plan to add 450 more later this year. The homeless count found 25% of those homeless in the county were seniors.
Of our 55 or older, 47% are experiencing homelessness for the first time, primarily because their housing became unaffordable. The oldest person that we found unsheltered was an 87-year-old black gentleman in his car. That is too old to be without shelter, to be without basic needs.
Heather Hope, CBS 8.
CBS 8 is working for you to get to the root of this continuing problem. Our Shannon Handy is sitting down one-on-one with Mayor Todd Gloria to ask the tough questions. You can watch the story tonight at 11 on CBS 8.
A car thief who escaped police by going the wrong way on local highways is still on the loose tonight. This car was reported stolen in La Mesa and spotted today in Otay Valley around 11:15 this morning. There you see him driving on the shoulder of the road the wrong way. When officers tried to pull the car over, the driver took off, and police say that driver was so reckless that they had to back off. A police helicopter later spotted them in the Mid-City area. They say the car pulled over in City Heights and a couple of occupants bailed out and ran off into nearby canyons.
Tonight, we are seeing record high gas prices in the county.
We're talking about more than $6.02 for a gallon of regular unleaded. That's the average tonight, just tenths of a cent higher than the previous record, which was set back on March 29th. Diesel is up as well to a record high of $6.50 a gallon.
Remember, we're working for you to find you the lowest gas prices and save money. Just text the word gas to 858-571-8888 for our map with the best gas prices around the county right now. Today, people saved money on gas for Bike to Work Day. While a lot of bikers hit the streets, we wondered just how many people are actually using the more controversial bike lanes in our city. We checked out the lanes on Oswego Street, Gold Coast Drive, and 30th Street. By far, we saw the highest number of bikers along 30th Street in North Park. However, businesses in that area, some are still angry that they're losing so much parking due to these bike lanes. While out on his own ride, Council President Shanilo Rivera says, love them or hate them, bike lanes are a part of San Diego's future.
We simply cannot achieve our climate goals without getting more people to move around the city by biking and walking.
Meanwhile, while we were out there, we saw very few bikers riding today on Oswego Street and Gold Coast Drive.
And if today's bikers got tired this morning, they had 100 pit stops to choose from thanks to Sandag. It's part of the agency's annual Bike to Work event. At the pit stops, riders got a chance to rest, get some snacks, and get a free t-shirt. It's a way for Sandag to encourage more San Diegans to use biking as an everyday, environmentally friendly and cost-saving choice to commute. Students at Hoover High School say they were taking a stand for reproductive rights today. They walked out of class earlier this afternoon and gathered on the school's athletic field. Several stepped to a microphone to share their feelings. Planned Parenthood representatives also attended. CBS 8 is working for you to get answers tonight about potholes in the city of San Diego. We crunched the numbers to find out which communities get the most complaints about the big bumps in the road. As David Goffredson reports, the same two areas have topped the list for the past 6 years.
And some of these holes are at least a foot wide.
San Diego resident Christopher Petchek was fed up with potholes along Miramar Road, so he reported them to the city using the Get It Done app.
I've hit several potholes. Fortunately, no damage to my vehicle, but it's just an inconvenient nuisance. And you can actually run the risk of de-aligning your vehicle, possibly popping the tire and having to replace it altogether.
Turns out Christopher is not the only one reporting potholes along Miramar Road. So far this year, Mira Mesa, which includes Miramar Road, and Claremont are the two communities with the most pothole complaints, according to data we compiled from the city's website. And those same two communities have topped the list for pothole complaints since 2016. To be fair, Miramar Road and Claremont Mesa Boulevard have a lot of traffic, especially truck traffic. I drove along Miramar Road Thursday and I was able to see that a lot of the potholes had already been patched.
They'd patched the holes. So if that's their definition of fixing it, but they're not actually fixing the roads where they're actually repaving the whole roadway again.
Earlier this month, Mayor Todd Gloria told CBS 8 fixing potholes is one of the issues San Diegans are concerned about.
They want their local government to keep them safe, they want us to fill the potholes, and they want to address homelessness. These are the main priorities in our budget.
Christopher says he did get a response from the mayor's office as well as his city councilman's office, so at least someone is listening.
I'm a firm believer in, if you're a citizen of the city and you see something wrong, you got to bring it to their attention, because maybe the city's not really aware of it. Maybe the mayor's office has a lot of other things on their mind.
Now, about an hour ago, I heard back from the mayor's office, and they told me the proposed budget for pothole repair next year is $3.1 million. That's the same budget that was spent this year. Carlo?
That sounds like they're spreading some asphalt pretty thin there, David. So we can see residents, they're holding the city's feet to the fire. Despite the backlog for many repairs, though, it sounds like the best way to report potholes and other issues is through their Get It Done app.
Yes, you can download the Get It Done app through the App Store, and then you can take photos of the potholes and upload them to the city. The top issues on that app are potholes, graffiti, and garbage collection problems.
All right, David Goffredson reporting for us. Thanks, David. And don't forget, here at CBS 8, we're working for you. If there's a story you'd like us to look into, please email us at yourstories@cbs8.com.
Stocks continued their slide during another downhill day on Wall Street. Blue chips hit a 52-week low this morning and are overall down 14% for the year. The Dow closed at 31,253, down 237. The Nasdaq finished the day at 11,388, 29 points down. And the S&P 500 closed at 3,900, which is down almost 23 points. The head of the FDA says concerned parents who have been struggling to find baby formula should start to see improvements on store shelves within days. As Deborah Alfarone reports, the testimony comes one day after President Biden took the rare step of invoking the Defense Production Act to boost domestic supplies.
There is relief in sight regarding the nationwide baby formula shortage, according to the head of the FDA.
Within days, it will get better, but it will be a few weeks before we're back to normal.
Dr. Robert Califf told a House subcommittee his agency is working on a number of solutions and asked for more resources.
It would sure help if we had a larger number of people.
One of the major reasons for the shortage is the shutdown of Abbott Nutrition's Michigan plant in February over safety concerns. Lawmakers grilled the FDA chief about the agency's response to warnings of violations at the largest formula factory in the U.S.
The agency received reports as early as September 2021, but did not inspect the associated facility until January of 2022, which is indeed unconscionable.
We need to make sure this plant is safe to open, but it's hard to see any evidence that FDA has made it a priority to get this plant cleaned and cleared and back online.
The hearing comes as the White House is trying to formulate a solution for parents. President Biden is invoking the Defense Production Act to boost domestic supplies.
I know parents all across the country are worried about finding enough infant formula to feed their babies.
The president is also launching Operation Fly Formula to import more product from overseas to speed up delivery so that store shelves don't remain empty or near empty for long. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
All right, Deborah, the FDA is working with Abbott to get the plant reopened. Meanwhile, this afternoon, the Senate passed an act that makes it easier for WIC recipients to access formula. That will now go to the president to sign.